Are we going? Are we live? Yes, we're live. There we go. All right. Doom 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 doom. Doom. Doom doo doom. Doom doo doom. Hello, Siribot. Always a pleasure. Finish getting a little bit ready here. Bum 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 ba da da dum. Bum bum ba da da. Put that over there. Let's see what else we got. We got Clip Studio. Get that going. Doom da doom da da doom. That doesn't need to be so big. Doom da doom. What else we got? What else we got? Unity. Oh yeah, we could probably. Couldn't find a readme. I should write a readme. Here. There you go. I can hide my error codes. The great villain. The great villain. Okay, let's see what else we got. Probably let some folks know that we are indeed live. Yep. Thank you, me, for telling me that. That is awesome. As always, we're setting this up live. We'll be working on some textures tonight. Let's see. Find or start a conversation. Where were we? Over here. Self promo, because we are promoting ourselves. Bam, clickety clackety clickety clack. Ooh, it gave me the narrow card today instead of the big square card that doesn't say what you're actually doing. It was very kind of it. Okay, what else? Yes, we are deving tonight instead of playing a game. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm excited to do. So we're gonna do that. Okay. Might as well get the rest of our trackers going. Yeah, I was just writing down ideas today. Funny thing. So I have that. I have a physical notebook that I write notes in. Any ideas and stuff. Instead of jotting them down on my phone, because you have to open up the app, hit the edit button, scroll, typey, swipey type. That works, because then you can take it everywhere, right? But on my desk, I have about a half-size notepad. You pick up the pen, jot ideas on it. What I had it laying on the floor because I have a very cluttered desk, very cluttered workspace. And that's just how I is. So whenever I had an idea, I would have to reach over, grab the notepad off the floor and jot it down. And I noticed I must have had a inspiration these last 2 days because I had to keep leaning over and grabbing that notepad. So I cleared a little extra space on the desk. And now we got a spot for it. Okay, let's get this running. Okay. That tracker. Let's see. Oh, and we're broken our backs again. There we go. Ooh, I wonder if we're gonna run out of desk space again. Because I do plan on having drawing tablet. Okay. Pop open that mobile dashboard. Manage that stream. Possibly mute myself. Yep, definitely mute myself. All right, a full reset. Bam, less cursed. Or at least I assume so, because all those windows pop up over my OBS feed, so I can't actually see it. It looks like we do need to slightly recalibrate here. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see. You know what? I think we might ditch the VC face guy tonight, and I will just let this guy run. That seems like a good idea. Let's get the other, because we are going to be in the factory for the most part. Did a little work on it the other night, and I was just thinking, it's like, you know, I need to get back in there. I need to do some more editing. Get that all wrapped up. In fact, I think it was Wednesday's stream. I was giving someone the tour. What was I giving a tour? I was giving someone a tour. I mean, all of you got to come along for the ride, of course. But it's thinking, you know, I keep talking about how we're almost there, almost ready to put everything together. One big happy project. But just haven't gotten there yet. So should probably just do that. Okay, are we loaded? Are we still building? I think we're still building. Loading all the plugins. Whoa, hello. Okay. That is huge. Sorry for the flashbang there. That was something. All right. I should almost just capture Unity and shrink it down a bit. Come on. But I do like having it just the right size. Ooh, a stepladder. We should have a stepladder. And then there's me getting distracted. Come on. There. No wonder I couldn't grab it. It was snapped. Come on, be nice. Snapping is both helpful and super annoying. There we go. This part was easier when I only had two 1080p monitors. Or just do full screen capture, instead of part of my 2K monitor. But I do love this monitor, except for its little quirk. It does have a very annoying quirk, where it does not surrender control. It like locks sometimes. Instead of, let's see, sometimes instead of going to like a screen save mode or power management mode or whatever, it locks up the computer. Have not figured that one out. That's a very annoying bug. Okay, we are going to move this guy here. We're going to do a little bit of moving around, and then we're going to start working on decals. It's all one prefab? That is all one prefab. Okay. Where should we put that prefab? Probably just up against the opposite wall. Let's move this on over here. Which way is it facing? It's facing whichever way we want. So for now, right about here looks good. No one said these had to be lined up perfectly. Probably better that they aren't. Although this this shelf right here is going to be pretty much impossible to get to, isn't it? This pallet racking. I do see a problem here. They put the pallets within the pallet rack. So that's a little curious. Having worked in and assembled a warehouse, yeah, that's a little concerning. A little concerning. Yes, it is extra fun to be up on top of these wibbly wobbly racks when they're being built. Oh, there. I thought I had the shift key still down. I did not. Well, it's gonna stay there for a hot minute. Okay. Yeah, we need to get way more stuff on these racks. I like how they're built up over here. Way more stuff. Less of these miscellaneous boxes. Oh, they're using them as shelves. They're using them more as shelving. Like if you put boards on a pallet rack instead of... You put boards down in the trays instead of having big open gaps. So I guess that's what they're trying to emulate. However, you can clearly see that they're pallets. We should probably do something about that. Bum, 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 bum. Raise that up a little bit, and all is mostly well. They do have them turned sideways as well, but you can still lift them up with a forklift. It's just more annoying. It's just more annoying. And it's gonna bother me. Oh, Let's fix that too. Yeah, that is definitely what they were going for, whether they realized it or not. They might have realized it. With the boards going in this direction, they were trying to simulate as if it was just boards on the pallet racking. Not a terrible way to do it. An alternative would be to have a prefab setup where it's just the top boards of the pallet, the skid, and your terminology. There we go. Now we can get to it with a forklift. Oh, did I remove the forklift? I might have removed the forklift, or it's outside. Ah, there it is. We can indeed be forklift certified. I was never forklift certified. Don't tell the OSHAs. Don't tell the OSHAs. Throw another skid up here while we're at it. There we go. So, what we're going to be doing tonight is decals. Decals. Much like what we have over here, which went through. Oh, that's interesting. Let me show you a little bit better here. Where's a stampy tool? Looks like a joystick or a chess pawn. Sorry. You could be playing Sorry with the little pieces. Okay, let's save that. So what we're going to be doing is working on these textures. So right now, if you look, you see it all right? Yeah, you can see it all right. It kind of gives a sickly, ghostly mildew look right now. Let's see, what is it? Shadograph decal. Yeah, it's just a super simple decal. Doesn't even have a normal map. But I think to get this looking as it does, show an Explorer. Yeah, so it's inverted. Yeah, it was inverted. And I think, yeah, we had to set it to multiply here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Alpha source from grayscale. I think we had to have it inverted, otherwise it wouldn't show up. And it's just a test anyways, just to see what it would look like, because I was going to go through my hard drive and see where on earth I have a whole pile of these things. Needless to say, couldn't find them. Could not find them. What else I got here? Oh, here's another one too. Nope, I could not find where I had a whole pile of the things, which is unfortunate, because would have been really handy just to pull some more of those out of thin air, out of the ether. Let's look for that ladder before I forget. Ladder. Prefab. If you're not familiar with Unity, a prefab is something that's ready to go. You know, it's bundled up and ready to roll for Unity. So it'll have an object, textures, the shader, any code. Because a prefab doesn't have to be just an object. It can be a camera. It can be an object with a whole bunch of scripts attached to it. So the next time you want to use it, you just pull it out of the library and drop it in. It is one of the very neat things about the Unity. Red ladder? I think this red ladder would probably be pretty decent. Whoa, that thing is huge. Get down on the floor. It is not down on the floor. It's stuck up in the ceiling because that's, guess what was in the way? And this ladder looks a little too big. It's like an extension ladder. Would be cool. It does. Okay, that's actually kind of neat. It doesn't quite work correctly. I'm sure there's a way to convert it to like local space or something. But it is an extension ladder and you can extend it. That's some thoughtful thinking. Instead, we are going to have, because it's a step ladder. Perfect. Perfect. Definitely not appropriate for this environment. Let's throw this extension cord here somewhere too. There. There. Now we can climb this ladder and get up here to the roof. Probably the roof. Okay. So now that that's taken care of, I do want to see what this looks like. I think I pressed the play button after doing all my additions. Look, guys, more warehouse. It's a little too bright over there right now. A little too bright. We have a... Do I have a flashlight? We do not have a flashlight. Well, we will eventually have our flashlight. So we'll be able to explore this. It's kind of forgotten back corner of the warehouse. There's some stuff up here blockading a door. Yeah, you guys probably can't even see that. There's another door hiding over here. I have to move this pallet racking around a little bit. Yeah, here's another blockaded door, little storeroom Oop, looks like I need to put on a far wall over there. Lights shining through. Definitely more junk on the shelves. Partially open door to the outside. Ooh, I'm gonna do some texture painting first. I do wanna get that going, but I thought of an addition to my general purpose script, the on-off script. Don't know if I'm gonna extend it or just make another one. I'll probably make another one. Instead of it being on-off, it will be for moving objects, like opening and closing a door when you interact with it. Just a super simple rotation script. Super simple. Okay. First, I need to plug in my phone. It's already quite low on power. There we go. Oh yeah, and I moved some stuff out of the way in the warehouse here. Some stuff. So I closed the door, got rid of the loading dock. Finally moved the floating stack of cash to just be right there. Some more garbage on the floor. Little packing bits or something. Packing peanuts? Probably. Or sand. Got rid of those big boiler tanks that were right here. Didn't think they were quite working. But yeah, look. Oh, look in the distance. Oops. Too much in focus. Where was that sweet spot? There you go. See? So now you can see more in the distance. But I need just a little more clutter, some more knocked over stuff. But yeah, that definitely implies that there is significantly more stuff back in the warehouse, huh? Especially when it's blurry like this. Oh, whoa. It's a little intense without any ambient light in front of them, isn't it? Must be backed up against the wall. Yes, I'm definitely backed up against the wall. It's a little too bright in here. It will be when we merge everything together. All of my fun lighting controls and camera post-processing and whatnot, those will all be available in this part too. It's one of those write it once and use it everywhere kind of things. Here's the ladder we just put down. Nice. I don't think I did anything with the office since last time. Last time being Wednesday. Nope, same office. Same trailer playing on that one screen. Hello. All right, I think we can hit the stop button here. Ugh. Yeah, that one too. I'm gonna leave this project up because we're gonna be playing with the decals. So these decals, you know, they're the wrong shade for one thing. But also they're a little too high res. So a little bit. Just my shirt. They are a little too high res. So we're gonna make them a little bit more cartoony. And while I don't have Photoshop on this computer, because my ancient version does not work in Windows 11, I don't think it even works in Windows 10. My other desktop was a Windows 7. It works just fine over there. Literally over there. It's right over there on the other edge of my desk. Right on top of Rusty's computer. Oh, but what we do have is this big honking tablet here. We are gonna have to move one of our tracking phones. Will this skew my body? No, that is interesting. That is interesting. So I'll have to remember this for the future. According to, if it was properly tracked, my body would now be like split funny, like a magician show where they saw the lovely assistant in half, because I just moved my hips directly in front of me to about a foot and a half over there. And yet we remain just fine because it's not positional tracking. It's a IMU, gyroscopic tracking. Tilt. We'll just say tilt sensors. I keep having to adjust my shirt because my chest tracker is weighing down my shirt pocket. Okay, but now, first of all, let's get rid of the VC Fish version of us over here. Oops, we had him. There we go. Let's lock the camera right there. Hi, everybody. Ooh, we are really large. We are really large right there. Okay. I think I will just fix that while we wait. Where is the camera? Is it this camera? No, it is this camera. Let's see, what do we change? So the camera's right there. Let's zoom in on it a little bit. It is way out there. What is our focal length? 47. 35 seems good. It's a misnomer because I don't think it actually is the correct focal length. Kind of annoying that way. 35mm full aperture. So we're using a film camera, not a film camera, not a movie camera. I should probably change that too. I believe the one we're using for the follow cam. Uh-oh. I believe the one we're using for a follow cam is indeed a full camera. Film camera. There. How's that? How's our arms? I'm surprised I had to move it over so far. Is it better? Okay. I'd say that's good enough. We should copy these transforms. Copy. Transforms. Stop the process. And bring the process back. Where's this camera? Paste. Transforms. Move it over there. Change the focal length again. Bam. Okay. Now those changes will be permanent. I'm gonna do it again. How's the audio? How's the audio? I swear it is my greatest struggle. There we go. Hi. It is my greatest struggle. Got the camera locked and let's get rid of Mr. VC Face. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Boop. There we go. Now we're using our own software. Should be nice and bright. We can do the fun lighting trick. Hold on. Nope, we gotta be actually in the right app though. It doesn't show up quite as... Wow, it is. The leap is being a little fussy right now. Yeah, it doesn't seem to make as much of a difference right now because we are in a well-lit area. All right, I believe we can just minimize that. Okay, let's bring up, first of all, the factory in the background. Here, start replacing these, start experimenting with them. So, decal. Decal. What are you currently set at? File info. This is leakage. I think I got this off of Fab. I think so. Or the Quexel. Quexel store? Okay, what do we got? We got 2048 by 1024. It doesn't need to be nearly that big. Doesn't need to be nearly that big. Let's look at a window texture, for instance. So, for instance, oh, in fact, this is one that I had edited. Edited. Because if you look, there's some rusty paint. I wonder if we use a rusty paint can anywhere yet. Oh, that I need to get rid of. Kids these days. Kids these days. So we got some trusty robot factory right there. Thought I had a few of them, but doesn't look like I did. Ooh, money bank. Good bank. Probably see if you guys can even see this, because there we go. Money bank. So if we look at the window. Where's the window? Oh, here's the window textures right here. Oh. They must have it layered a little bit. You know, the glass and the wall are separate textures. So if you look right here, and then you look, you can see this kind of fake shadow look right here. Boom. Right there. It's a faked shadow, faked grime. But that's all the bigger it is. It looks just fine. It looks just fine. That's all the bigger it is. And here's a brick texture. You would think they would have more variation. Especially since it doesn't look like they can tile this brick texture. It's a big blotch of space for a DEA sticker. When you have some of these other things that are just super, super small. Okay. Get ripped up. Okay. Oh, and somebody spilled their ketchup. It's always a shame when you spill your ketchup. Okay, so just judging by this, we don't need to get super crazy with the grunge textures and it'll still look fine. I'm going to add some here and then also in the office. I do want like rust and such. So let's see where our tablet is mapped to. Do I have my tablet upside down? I sure do. That's like a 7-foot, 8-foot cord. There we go. Oh, there we go. I have it set up perfect because the hotkeys are on the left side because I'm right-handed, despite what it looks like on the screen. Yep. I do have my my avatar mirrored because for me it is. I guess it's a choice. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it kind of matters. So it doesn't really matter because, you know, what difference does it make when I'm chatting with you? But if I say something is in my right hand and I'm holding up my left hand, yeah, that's it'll throw you off a little bit. But the reason I do it is because it's easier for me to associate pointing somewhere. Like, see, now I'm pointing to the right side of the monitor, right side of the screen. My avatar is also pointing, you know, stage right. So that's why I have it set up that way. You know, stage right, stage left. It's easier for my brain to deal with at a glance. I guess that's where I'm going with that. All right, is it mapped to the entire screen? No. Well, why the heck not? Did I not use this since I got the new monitor? Okay, there's a corner. There's that corner. It is not mapped to the whole screen. Well, that's annoying. Whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em. Are you whack 'em? Open. Intuos 5L. It's the large one. And it is not a, I guess that might be confusing. A lot of people are probably used to seeing artists online using screens. Whether it's a fancy Cintiq or it's a any of the other tablet monitors. So it's like, oh, why do I need to, test out where my mapping is? I should be able to just look down and it's right there, right? I didn't want one with the screen on it. So much cheaper. Uses less resources on the computer. B, I like looking at the monitor while I'm drawing. I'm one of those weirdos. I think it's because that's how originally was taught. In ye olden days. Mapping, there it is. Screen portion, screen full. Full? No, not full. Monitor 2. Force proportions. I hope so. And that should do it. Over here. Off camera. Yep. All right, there we go. Yes, so one of my first jobs in college was doing photo editing. Lots and lots of photo editing and graphic design. And so the photo editing, I used this tablet, but a much, much, much earlier model. I think it used a serial port. That's how old it was. The pre-USB. USB was out. I think the model I used was pre-USB, and it was the Intuos. In fact, it would have been a little bit bigger than this because it would have been 4:3. 4:3 aspect ratio instead of widescreen. How about that? Yeah, that thing was big chunk. Okay, clip, where are you? Okay, so we need some grime. We need some grime, and it doesn't need to be that big. We do not need a 4K. Let's go with this for now. Color 72 resolution. Paper color doesn't matter because we want it. Ugh. Maybe I should have put a paper color on there. Just to fill in the background so it's not that. You'll have to forgive me a little bit because I am not super familiar with Clip Studio. I should be. I have had it since ye olden days. Where's my color picker? Color picker, you're the one. Bam. There we go. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. We are not going to be using the nice drawing brushes that I downloaded. I think these are like the only brushes I've downloaded so far for Clip. They're from, what is his handle? Chromamoma? Sounds funny, but I think it's Chromamoma. Wanted to replicate the actual drawing pens and nibs that he used. Like one of them's, I think, a ballpoint pen almost, and a fountain pen, two different brush pen, and a dip pen. I think what we might be using, let's let's see. Let's get kind of a rusty colored. There. Okay, now I gotta figure out. Okay, that's zoom. I figure out what I have everything mapped to. Oh, that's layers. Brush size, here we go, perfect. Okay. Zoom in a little bit more. I should really use this more often. I forget how absolutely handy it is to draw on the computer. I have been lacking in drawing lately. I've been very lacking in drawing lately, and it's kind of sad. I should draw more. But there are so many things, so many things that need doing, or that I'm already invested in. And as they say, there are only so many spoons. We are gonna go. There we go. Paper color. We'll make a paper color. There we go. We are going to go a little bit larger because I can tile the texture. I can tile it. So what that means is we're only going to use a certain portion of this file in any one spot. So I can make all sorts of doodles here and just kind of break it apart. That way the game engine only has to load one material, which is the proper way to do it. Okay, what do we got? Kind of bright brown, a little too bright, little too bright. Also, we have a little too much. Actually, that's not too bad for a for what we're going for. That is not the worst. Surprisingly, I kind of want to see how this would look. Let's make this a lot smaller. Maybe do a light gray. I don't remember what all the shortcuts keys do. So on this Intuos tablet, there's a little scrolly wheel, which is what I use. Currently, I have it set for brush size, so I don't have to go click over here above my head. But there's also like 8 other keys. Yeah, 8 other hotkeys. Where if I use this more often, I would have them set up for controlling things like undo, redo, probably the space bar so I can drag easier, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But I do not utilize this as much as I should. Do not utilize this as much as I should. So we're just going to draw in some highlights here. Maybe some more flakes up here. And these are going to be off in the distance. So it's not super crucial. It's not super crucial. I should pull up some reference. Oops, that's too much. Some reference would probably be helpful. I think I have reference. You know, let's save this while we're at it. Let's just save this while we're at it. For the desktop? Sure. Nothing incriminating on the desktop. Would be nice if it popped open over here like every other program. We'll call this Rust Texture. Textures. Where was I? I have a whole folder. of glorious photos. And chat, do you want to know how old these photos are? These I think I took back in college days in the early 2000s on my first digital camera. Love that little camera. It was a Casio. It was a Casio. We'd call it a point and shoot nowadays because it did not have interchangeable lenses. Casio Exilium. Exilium. I think it no longer works because the battery eventually expanded. So I think the it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit anymore. And plus it's like a, I want to say like a 3.2 megapixel camera. So yeah, sadly, yeah, sadly, cell phone far superior. So this is some stuff, some industrial type equipment. Yeah, I mean, you know, for early 2000s digital camera, this is not terrible. Got some rust, some grime. Oh, here's some where something was taped to this this machine. You know, I did check this earlier, didn't I? I did check this earlier a while back. Nothing incriminating here. See, here we go. Some lovely gross paint bubbling here with some, need to put some rust streaks. And this this kind of swap color right here, that's just so I don't have to stare at the checkerboard. That is just so I don't have to stare at the checkerboard. We're gonna do this and just overlay it, stamp it wherever we want, because that's how a decal shader works. It's kind of like a projection or a stamp or decal. Yeah, there. Obviously, a decal shader is like a decal. It will sit on top of whatever surface we want it to. Now, what I could do, if I really wanted to, is I could just convert these directly into decal. That I would want to use Photoshop for, because I am so much more familiar with Photoshop in these regards. Oh, here I use the flash versus no flash. Oh, look, if you see the sky right here, this is even perfect conditions. Well, not perfect. There is a shadow. So this must have been midday or so. Ideally, you would want even more overcast than this, whatever this is implying as a sky, because then there's no shadows or very, very diffuse shadows. So when you're capturing a texture, I assume there's better ways of doing it these days with sophisticated cameras and software. At least back then, maybe today, you would want nice diffuse lighting, minimal shadows, so you could go in and make your own grunge maps. Or dirt grunge. Look at this right here. I love this. Yeah, I might just grab this later. Make a bunch of little cutouts and paste them here and there. What is this? I was using a tripod. I was using a tripod to steady myself here. Is that one of mine, or was I borrowing that? I was borrowing that tripod. I don't have one that looks like this. Okay, this is kind of cool. Look at that. Zed Industries. And look at this. Look at this logo. Look at that logo. Zed Industries. This was Seal and Dwell. Yeah, I wonder what this machine did. Obviously it sealed stuff, but oh, am I blocking? Am I blocking? There we go. Zed Industries. The last industries you will need, because the alphabet doesn't go any further. That's sweet. What is this? This is something you're not supposed to play on. You are not supposed to play on this. See, okay, so here's a cool thing. I could take this and I could just paste this right into the low poly atlas over here, because it looks about the same amount of distinguished. I mean, I'd want to de-skew it probably, Yes, again, Photoshop. Think I have the new version of GIMP installed on here because I heard they improved it from eons ago. Ooh, that's blurry. Oh, yep, very blurry. Try again. Oh, look at this. Look at this glorious rust. Yeah, if we had any if if we had any rusty machinery to the rusty robot factory, you'll definitely be using some of these homegrown textures. Got some lovely paint peeling. Ooh, even some bird dew. Yeah, lovely bird dew right there. You know what? I think I used some of these in painting class as reference. Ooh, yeah, paint chipping right there. Let's see, what don't we need? I would love to get rid of some of these windows here. I would love to get rid of some of these. I don't really need most of these windows. I'll have to figure a better way to organize this all later. This probably isn't the best brush for what I'm doing. I mean, it says textured, but yeah, it says textured, but it's not quite as textured as I would want. A little block here, a little peeling on the edges. And this will just be seen from a distance anyways. That really helps it at all, but I think I actually messed that up a little bit because I skipped ahead on a layer. Oh well. We're just testing things out anyways. We're just testing things out right now. For science, yes, we're testing things for science. Check out these lovely textures. Lovely textures. These are over 20 years old. From a much older digital camera than what I currently have. I think it was my first one. I think this one was for my first digital camera. But I captured a whole bunch of rusty old machinery. I think this was a... What does this look like? Hydraulic press, maybe? On its side? Look at those beautiful rusty textures. Some of these I should just copy and paste right into what I'm doing instead of trying to redraw them. A lovely peeling paint. For science. But what we're doing is we're working on some rust textures. I'm just gonna see what we think about it here. See what we're thinking here. Just make it a little bit of paint peeling and such. And we're gonna try out a few brushes too. Add a little. Oh, that is way too bright. Get out of here. How are we doing tonight, Mr. Senor Lobos? Okay, let's also choose another brush. Let's choose another brush because here we go. Thin gouache, gouache. Oh, what? No way. I did not think I had tilt control with this tablet. That is wild. I did not think I had tilt control. Unless it's faking it. It might be leading me on. Let's scroll over here. Okay, so this is awesome if I do have tilt control. So basically how tilt control works is certain drawing styluses have a little built-in sensor, a gyroscope kind of thing, or tilt sensor. It's not, I keep calling it gyroscope when I mean a tilt sensor. So if you're, I'm holding it right here in this hand. So if you tilt it this way, it's as if you're tilting a physical brush or rotating, the physical version as if you were on pen and paper or paintbrush and paper, I guess, marker and paper. So instead of it just being wherever the, making a cursor, a pressure sensitive cursor, instead of it being a pressure sensitive cursor, which is awesome, just as it is, because you can do all sorts of things with pressure sensitivity, like, lightly brushing or controlling how big something is. A demonstration. I love the G Pen. A demonstration. So, right now I'm altering how hard I am pressing. So instead of it being how translucent it is, how see-through it is, it's the size of the brush. The size of the mark left by the brush, I should say. Whereas other tools, it'll be how opaque. But this one also has directional control. And I wonder if it's real or if it's faking it. I think it's real. I was not expecting it to be real. So that's kind of cool. I don't think this is the right brush either, but the right brush for the job. But whoa, that looks wild. I also wonder if it's simulating on a specific material. I need to look up some more tutorials, but today we're just kind of goofing off. Oh yeah, I do not like that material though. Probably work if I can like smudge it together maybe. But it appears to be going on a very rough texture. Like very rough watercolor paper. Which is interesting that oil paint would look like it's on watercolor paper. Unless that's supposed to be canvas. Yeah, it's supposed to be canvas. Oh, and we're trying to blend. These two. That is it. Yeah, I don't use this program nearly as much as I would like. Definitely need to practice. Definitely need to practice some more. Okay, because we're actually blending the paints that we're drawing on. Should probably be in the art category instead of software and dev. We're going to do that. We are going to switch over to art. I think last time I was in art, I was working on my logo. My lovely trusty Robot Factory logo. which we'll see. I was just gonna pull it over and show, but you know what we're gonna do instead? We're gonna save this, export it, not as a webtoon. This is a Clip Studio Paint, which is used very well for comics, web comics, webtoons, all that kind of fun stuff. Export single layer? Where is save for web? Save duplicate as a, oops, we gotta get rid of the, there we go. There we go. Let's see how this this texture looks. It could be interesting. Save it as a PNG. You know, I would really appreciate it if it put the save over on the other side. Not that I have anything to hide on my desktop, because as a streamer, I know better. As a streamer, I absolutely know better. But, yeah. Okay, and we're gonna go over here to our project. And I have one called textures somewhere. Textures. Show in Explorer. Well, I think I can just drop it right in and it'd be okay. Oh, that's, ew, that looks hideous. Okay, decals. Where's my decal? We are going to use that. All right. Okay, we're not going to tile it, because I want to see it kind of like full strength. Not terrible. It's not terrible. Let's play with it a little bit. Maybe put it up on the window. You know what? I am going to tile it, because I want to see it across different areas. So you see, it just adds this nice little grime. Should make it bigger too. Make it a little bigger. Drop it down. Drop it like it's hot. Kind of get it lined up just right. I do frequently forget that you can play with these numbers to get it a little bit more precise. Where's it? Let's do it. There, now it's kind of wrapped around that edge. It looks, you know, it looks okay. But see what it looks like from the ground. Instead of waiting hours for a test render, like I would have had to back when I originally made, when I originally took these pictures to use as reference, computers were not as fast. It would have been, when did I get that camera? 03, 04, 02, somewhere around there. I don't know exactly when they came out. Somewhere around there. Got my little Casio. Probably had like a, 64 megabyte memory card in it. Okay. So there it is. Just too small for one thing. Look at me lean way back. Yeah, it's definitely too small. Because you can't really see it from up here, except for maybe above the window. I can grab my cursor. You can see a little bit right there. So this is definitely better for a large scale, for how detailed I have it, which is good because that is what I wanted. It is a little difficult to navigate odd angles without the PlayStation controller, just using the keyboard. Here, come on. I mean, it looks grimy, but yeah, it is way too detailed for this. It looks almost looks like an error. Oh, you can see the new part of the building and through the window. The new part of the building. Okay. Should we change it on the office? It changed itself. That must have been a duplicate decal. And that looks hideous right there. That looks absolutely hideous. Let's play with that. Let's play with that. Oops. No, not you. You. In the editor. Come on. Okay. Now where is that decal? Right there. Let's see if we can get a decent split screen going. So decals are kind of funny. If you notice, it's kind of crawling around on the ceiling. That is because it is, think of it more like a projector than a stamp. So, you know, a projector hits every surface that it can. And that is exactly what it's doing. That's exactly what it's doing. Ugh, so that's why it's stretched on the ceiling like that. So if we line it up a little bit, probably have to change some of these settings too. I am not super familiar with them, but they take up an area. So if you look at this white wireframe here, that's the area that the decal will take up. Scale mode. Let's see. Projection depth. Oh, there we go. Now it won't take up nearly as much space. Uses the decal drip, which we just created. Tiling offset. So for tiling, you can actually make it tile less, and not just not the whole image. So if we want to do this, that should take the top corner. Nope, it took the bottom corner. That's kind of funny. So if we go negative and negative 0.5, will that... Maybe tiling's not the right one for that. Another thing that I will need to read up on instead of experimenting on the screen here. But yeah, we definitely need it to be bigger. We definitely need it to be a little bit bigger. Width. I mean, that's one way to do it. Now we're just gonna hug it up to the ceiling. Theoretically, if I separated the ceiling into its own layer, it wouldn't blend up onto the ceiling like that. That would probably be a great way to do that, because you can change, like everything, lighting, shadows, you can change what it affects, which is pretty cool. Okay, so how does this look? How does this look now? Probably move it way over here because we have a whole bunch of empty space on this canvas. So let's try that. You know, it doesn't look too bad. I think it needs to be bigger. It needs to be stretched more. Because if you look, it almost looks like spider webs above in the corner. So up, why don't I just use the cursor? So up here, it looks more like spider webs. That the little light gray work doesn't really show up. And part of that's probably the lighting. And this just looks messy. So it doesn't really get the point across. So I think for this kind of low poly cartoonish style, I need a more hard edge and more bold lines, bold shapes. Because if you look here on the window, this one's built into their texture. But if you look at this, you know, big shapes, not little fine detail shapes. So that's what we need to do here. So if I blew this up really big, it'd probably look fine. It would probably look fine. Oops. Scale mode inherit from hierarchy or scale invariant. What do these mean? I do not know what these mean. See, now that's just way too big. I don't want it to be that big. I want the item inside of it to be that. Well, there we go. There we go. Why didn't I think of this the first time? So that's... yeah, I'm tiling it multiple times. Oh, that is just odd. That is just odd to me. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to... something we'll have to play with. Something we'll have to play with. It's probably going to look a little bit better now, though. Oh, aha. If we adjust the offset and the tiling, we get what we want. Okay. 0.5, and let's do probably 0.25. No? No, 0.5 and 0.5. Okay, so that'll take that quadrant. There, now it shows up much nicer. Not as bright, but definitely more of what I was going for. A really rusty look. But yeah, it just needs to be, needs a little more to it. Oh, now that we've messed with that, let's go check on the other one, see what we can do. But yeah, so something like that, especially kind of in the distance, it's, I think it'll get the point across. It'll get the point across. Add in some more colors, maybe make some for like moss, so we can project moss and water damage from the ceiling maybe. Where is this? Yes, I should make some for the roof, the triangle shape of the roof. Oh, that is interesting too. I bet there is a fade distance for the decals. Oh, and I just walked into a scissors. I have behold, I have been stabbed. Yeah, there's a fade distance for the decals because they're just faded in. Okay, so now we need to do a lot more with that. Then I can start putting them everywhere. I can start putting them on the boxes. I can make oil slicks on the ground. I think this is an object, and that's why it's kind of glossy. There's like a water spill right here. Yeah, with some paint cans on it. Man, I need to add physics to like everything because paint cans should not be stopping me in my tracks. Definitely not. And now I am curious, do we have a rusty branded paint can here? Did we grab any rusty paint cans? So we did alter to the texture pack for it. Nope, apparently not. We must stamp our logo everywhere. Everywhere, folks. Okay. go. I kind of like this shot. Bam. That is a cool shot. It does have the lighting error in it though. For some reason, this corrugated steel, you see it right here, you see it right here. For some reason, it puts highlights on it until you get close. You can tell when the like the light volume as you get closer, it'll go to what it's supposed to look like. There you go. Here's a sphere. So it's like the sphere around me fixes it. Let's go. We're just a little bit brighter. You can see that. There you go. You look really close. Right up there. If you look really close, not where the cursor is. Right where the ladder is. I haven't tracked down that lighting problem. I am aware that I probably have too many lights in the scene. I know the spotlights have trouble with it. So you can see there's some blinking going on right here by this pallet rack. Like right there, it's bright. And now it's not. It's because there's a spotlight up there somewhere. And you can only have so many of them in a scene. So I need to do optimization after I get everything placed how I want it. Like for instance, those lights, maybe they shouldn't be floating in midair. I just realized that because I didn't see it from this angle. Because normally when I work on the there they are, yep. Normally when I work on all of this, the ceiling is out of the way. The roof, I should say. The roof is out of the way. So I guess I never realized that the giant shop lights are, in fact, floating in midair. I'll add that to the to-do list, I suppose. Where's the art? We are the art. There, that's my pretentiousness for the day. We're texturing. You want to see some drawings? Okay. Hold on. There, I've got Clip Studio open. There's your art. Now go away. just kidding. Welcome in, Shrill Duck. We're doing textures, specifically decals, so we can make things look rusty for our rusty robot factory. Because Rusty has so many meanings in this project. Throw mud on the wall there. Oh, nice one. So what that looks like in the lighting, well, there's a little bit way up there, but we're testing it out. And it looked pretty decent with decent lighting, but I need to make it more cartoony. So you see right there to the right of my head, on the right side of the screen. See, it just looks it looks too blurry because it is in fact too detailed. It is too detailed for the rest of everything. So what we need to do is in fact just make it less detailed, more cartoony, like what they have here around the windows. That's what I'm using as an example. So if you look, like right here, looks like mud. It does look like mud more than rust. It definitely does. If you look right here, they have it more like broad, cartoony looking areas to match the low poly, flat shaded look. And I went too detailed. I do have some fun textures, peeling paint, old rusty equipment that's sitting outside, neglected. Probably went into a scrapyard a good 2 decades ago. Not should have. Probably did, because I took this in the early 2000s with a digital camera. I like this one. Z Industries. This was some kind of packaging machine, if I were to guess. It says seal time and dwell time. That's probably how long it took to seal the package, probably maybe like heat shrink it or something, and then, yeah, how long to seal it, how long before it moves on to the next object. So yeah, I have lots of old source images. Old source images. From the early days. But yes, definitely looks like mud. What I could probably do is maybe just grayscale, because it is being overlaid over whatever color. And this is too much. It would look less like mud if it was in a better lit area, for one thing. And smaller. Here, so let's go undo all that hard work we just did. Wow. Gonna need to reset our decal after that, but 0, negative 180, 0. There, now it is significantly smaller. But yeah, no, it does just look like mud. So I'm thinking, where's clip? Where's clip? Here we go. Instead of brown, we should just grayscale this right off the bat. Actually, what we should do is get a less blurry brush. A less blurry brush. Filter, sharpen. Let's just sharpen the easy way here. Ooh, this adds a nice little, because we're using unsharp mask, it adds a little shadow. It'd be nice, give us a little depth. Smear some mustard. That will make more rust because of the acidity of the mustard. I learned that in a metalworking course way back in the day. Way back in the day. All right, where is that? I don't think we need this brush. I think it has too much texture. So let's go back to the textured pen, which does not have tilt control. I'll have to look it up later, he says as he looks for it right now. Oh, here we can change the texture. That makes way more sense. Ooh. Ooh. We can change the texture of those texture brushes over here. So the surface they'll be drawing on. It'd be neat if there was, I don't read Japanese, but it'd be neat if there was, there's noise for paper texture. It'd be neat if there was one that was, concrete. I'm sure I could find one. Yeah, those are some interesting noisy textures. Which, again, I don't think we need because it'll be too much texture. Pencil might not be the worst either. Let's see what this does. Opacity 90, sure. See, that's going to be too blurry. That was also going to be too blurry. So let's just go right back up to this texture pen is, I don't know, I think it's the right amount. I think it is the right amount for what I'm looking for here. So let's get something a little less cool. It's down in Japanese so you can read it. I mean, it's more like looking at, looking at the texture more than knowing what it's called. I mean, I could grab my phone and use the live translate feature, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, we could use the live translate tool, and that would tell us exactly what it is. But where was that? Texture paper. I mean, it kind of says here it's like paper texture. What is this? That is also a paper texture. Oh, I am looking at all paper textures because that is what we're looking at. It's faster, just download it. Probably. But I'm more looking for like at it. I don't care as much about what it's called as in what it does. And none of these have that like rock texture or concrete texture. So I'd probably just want some kind of like noise, something like this, just to give it a little bit of texture instead of this like super rough watercolor paper, charcoal paper kind of look. Because we are going very stylized anyways at the moment. So if we add in, just draw right over this, I guess. Darker. Is there levels? There's no levels. I am very used to Photoshop. So I don't have it on this machine. Don't have it Photoshop on this machine, but it would definitely come in handy for what I'm trying to do here. I'm gonna kind of paint over this. Maybe add in some extra drips. In the long run, I'll probably look for more rough textures and then just play around with the size on those instead of drawing these in myself. We'll see. It might just be a kit bashing everything. Combination of kit bashing, doodling over stuff. Let's put some of this in here. Kind of like a peeling effect. Again, I'm doing way too much detail again. It's kind of a fault. Way too much detail because it's not going to show up. In fact, it will show up poorly. It'll show up poorly what I'm trying to accomplish. And way more opacity too. Oh, sorry for those who are abhorrent to light mode. This is not my intent to blast you with checkerboard. Low poly rust. We're just experimenting tonight. And kind of just gonna see what it looks like ourselves first. But I will most likely do that. I did download some stuff from Quixel. That's what I was using. I picked something that wasn't too hideous. So we have this. And again, it was just too high detailed. So it barely showed up. I would have had to invert it and everything too, because it was not transparent background. Why? I do not know why it did not have an alpha channel. Did not have an alpha channel, and it did not have transparent background. So I actually had to, well, that's the reason it's inverted, is because I had to get it from grayscale. instead of from the texture alpha. Really. Or take it into Photoshop, blast the levels so that it would, and create an alpha channel for it. I suppose now that I have GIMP installed on here, I can do that. Do I have GIMP installed? I know I downloaded it. I do. Oh wait, no, this is giving me download results, which is something I never wanted. Because somehow Copilot reinstalled itself. Somehow Copilot reinstalled itself. That is not a thing that I want to happen, like ever. Oh yeah, I can leave more transparent areas too. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that. We're just experimenting today. Oh, jeez. Rough. Small tears in it here. Oh, that is way too strong. Way too strong. Okay. Probably let some of the base texture come through. Scratch away at it a little bit. Again, we're just experimenting today. We're just experimenting, having a little fun here. I'm not a fan of this big blob here, but it is what it is. Some peeling paint. Need more sharp edges is what it does need. It definitely does need some more sharp edges. Because again, low poly. So, on that note, let's sharpen this up again. Hit it with a sharpen more. Ew. Ew. Maybe not a sharpen more. In Photoshop, that would not have added an outline. There, I guess that's okay. There's so many different ways you can do low poly rust. Oh, absolutely. And what I'm doing here is decals. I wonder. Duplicate layer. There we go. That's better. It's like, how do I adjust the opacity? How would I make it double the opacity? Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Save a duplicate PNG. And make this rust textures too. Now we have to set down the stylus and go find it on the other screen. Yeah, there are tons of ways you can do rust. What I'm doing is decal, so I can put it on any surface I want. I should be able to adjust so that it's not brown also, which is why I should have just used grayscale to begin with. Because I'm sure there are ways in here, oh yeah, look on the decal, where you can just automatically grayscale it by changing the shader. Oh no. You saw everything on my desktop, did you? Yes, I keep that stuff right front and center. It is hiding right behind this window, just out here, boldly out there. I forgot what I was doing. Here we go. Let's go grab this one. I keep forgetting that I can just drag and drop. I can literally just go like this. Bam. There's textures too. The beauty of a development environment. Okay, so let's make a new decal. Let's put this one over here somewhere. Oh, but yes, there are many different ways to use orange for rust. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. Because steel is, when it oxidizes, it turns as burnt orange. Brown. Oh, that's a lovely clock from... what museum was that? Not, it's in the wrong folder, but lovely clock. Old. I guess it's rusty. I guess it counts. Yes. It says orange. Yeah, if this was orange and overlaid, it would probably look a little bit better. Yeah. And so you got to add some noise and some stuff around the edges if I was going for more high detailed. Problem is, it doesn't fit. It does not fit with how cartoony this is. Especially since I control most of the texture with lighting. Because I mean, this looks like super flat, right? You can see some like water damage, grime, dirt, whatever you want to call this. See how that's just like a slightly darker color? And it looks super cartoony. When you use the right lighting and post-processing, plus it's in the background. It is not a hero object. It's not going to be like, oh, my ray gun I have in my hand or whatever, See, that would be something that you need a higher level of detail. Well, if that's the style you're going for, you need a higher level of detail in your hands. But I mean, look at this scene. See, it's all kind of flat and silhouettes and such. And, you can tell, even in this little window. It's like, oh, here's some shelving that tipped over. You got some windows. You got big plant right here. Maybe some stairs off in the distance, but this is like a dark area with a bright light here doing something. Being able to tell it all at a glance. That's kind of what I'm going for with this. So I don't have to have 4K, 8K textures everywhere, super high def. It's just not the look I'm going for. Now, where do I put my decals? Decals are just in general here. Decal drip material. I'm going to need a new material. There it is, create material. Let me really call this rust text 2. Decal. Base map. This one. We could put a normal map on it. That would also help with the puckering paint. Oh yes. The 4K textures are definitely not not high def enough. Okay, so we got a rust texture 2. Let's make a decal projector. It'd be nice if I could align it with the camera right here. Boy, this place needs to be much better categorized before I get rid of it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's crappy. Okay. Playground. Rendering? URP decal projector. Ta-da! Oh, it does. It shows up right in front of the camera. Thank goodness. All right, let's oops. Decal projector. We'll call this decal rust. It'll be easy to find it'll be easy to find. Let's see which way this is pointing. You gotta follow the little bitty arrow. There you are. And drop rust textures too. Hmm. Really? What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, let's figure out what's going on with this decal here. I think we need to make it a little bigger, for one thing. Draw distance 1000. It does not need 1000 draw distance. More like 20. Projection depth. There goes. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting. I've flipped it upside down somehow. And that is super tiny. Super tiny. All right. Well, let's position it so it goes kind of right in the corner. How about right by the door? Yeah, that doesn't look great. That does not look great, does it? Ew. You know what? I might nix that brown color altogether. It is way too muddy. Okay. First, let's go see what it looks like. Oh. Let's go see what it looks like. So we can say we gave it a shot at least. And the thing is, it might be just right for being faded off in the distance. See? No. See, it's too dark. It is too dark, in fact. It needs to be a little bit more lit or darker. There's like darker gray instead of brown. That barely shows up. It blends in too much with the brickwork. You know, to be fair, brick shouldn't be rusting. Brick probably shouldn't be rusting. One of the things I love about using an environment, whether it's Unity or I'm sure Unreal, you can just test it out live. You can just test it out live. There, now we have a drippy window. See, now that looks a little better. That does look a little better. Now it looks like the window's actually diseased and rusting. Can't get any closer because we are short. If I jumped up on some pallets, maybe that'll help. There we go. The light gray outline does not work. So experimenting with this experiment, the light gray outline doesn't work so good. The brown does make it look muddy and not rusty. The gray kind of works though. I bet if I used a different texture, like if I gave it more of a metallic texture and had just a little sheen to it, maybe a little reflection. But you know, I kind of like that. And so one of the reasons you would use a decal as opposed to editing the texture itself is Sorry, I got distracted by fireflies above my head here. I think they're just supposed to be regular flies flying around beneath the spotlights outside. But they were coming through the wall right there. They were coming through the wall. And we have another lighting area right there. Error. Lighting error. Spotlights. Anyways, so one of the reasons you use decals instead of coloring right on the texture itself, or making a detail map on the texture, is you can just put it anywhere. You know, so I don't need to have a dozen different ribbed steel textures for this, you know, this steel wall here above the brick. I can just have one, or say the people who made the assets can just make one. And if I want some mold dripping, I could do that. I can just project some mold and it stays there at runtime. It's not like moving around funny or anything. You know, it's just in that spot. Although you can use decals to do things like graffiti, like good old, you know, Modern Warfare or COD or whatever. You know, at least you used to, you know, spray your team logo or whatnot on the wall. You just tag it. You can do the same thing with decals. You just create a new decal instance wherever you are. Much like the flashlight. Much like how I use the flashlight. Or the laser pointer that I got working. I figured it out. I figured out what I was doing wrong with the laser pointer on Wednesday's stream. I am digging this warehouse. I do need more clutter though. I need some I need a busted forklift instead of the working one outside. And definitely more rubble, more garbage. And this is kind of what I was talking about when I mentioned making... what the heck was that? Oh. Oh, okay. You guys didn't see that because it's on my other monitor. But if you if I somehow hold my arm, if I rest my arm on top of the drawing tablet, it pops up a little tooltip window that says what all the buttons are. How did I do that? There it goes. Touch on and off settings, precise mode, undo. Undo is right above the scrolly wheel. Super helpful, as any digital artist most use button. Undo. Well, anyways, yes, I'm making the lighting do a lot of the work. It is currently too bright in here. It is currently too bright in here in this abandoned industrial area. Part of the problem is the fog. I need to find a better fog solution. Because if you look in the far distance, it's really bright over there. And it shouldn't be. It's a fog distance thing. See, now it's darker. And now it's really bright over here because of the fog distance thing. So I need to play with the settings. As always, need to look up a tutorial. But yeah, we need more clutter. We need more rubble. I want this this whole corner of the building to just be caved in. Be caved in by whatever disaster happened. Whatever disaster happened, he says, menacingly staring at the camera. But yeah, no, baby steps. Baby steps. Pull the poles and let it fall. Should. Get out the torch. Get out the torch, let it come down. Yeah. More clutter, more random objects. Because if you look right here, I did switch up the boxes, the pallets of boxes. What I did is I just rotated the object so that there'd be different faces. Because they have different textures on each side, a different arrangement of the boxes. Welcome in, Benny VV. We're trying out Rust tonight. and it looked more muddy than rusty. But it's a good start. And honestly, I will probably use actual rust textures instead of drawing them. And then maybe I'll just cartoonify them probably in Photoshop instead of Clip Studio, because I'm more familiar with it. But yeah, there's one of our rusty adventures beneath that window. Not okay. Oh, and we did expand the warehouse. Off stream, I expanded the warehouse. I knocked out that wall, the wall we were facing, added more pallet racking with more stuff on it, but it needs even more stuff on it. I think one of the things that might make it a little better is changing the lighting itself. Let's see. What should we try? No. Maybe noon. What does it look like at noon? There, see, now there's not as much light shining in the windows. Yeah, now there's not as much light shining. Did not happen, do it over. Oh. I finally looked up how to snap things in the Unity editor, and so much nicer. So much nicer for moving things around using assets, especially. Because like all the walls and the floor assets, you can kind of see they're grid, squares. They're all 3x3. So you set the grid and you just move it over and it snaps right into place. No more fiddling with it. So handy. If you are wondering, which I know you aren't, Shrill, because you're using Unreal. Right here. Change this to global and you have the little magnet. Oh, you can't see that. Meow. So you change how you move things to global, and then this little magnet right here is the snap to grid. I think it's snap to grid. And my grid is set to 1. So I just move the object 3 snaps. Let's put that back up there. I have this hidden, not for like security reasons or anything. I mean, this is literally Rust Factory. Because that's my name, Rusty Factory. But robot middle name, of course. But you know what? Having this glaring bright title bar just wasn't doing it for me. I just hid that above the stream. Right about there. Ta-da! Makes for better editing. Like if I want to take a screenshot from the video file, I figured it out. So this is mostly framed how I want it. I think that's about it. So I only have a little bit of letterboxing on the side, like right here, and a little bit on the bottom. There's a little black bar on the bottom here when I'm using Unity, at least. It makes video editing so much easier for making little clips and stuff. You got my Unity number. Oh no. Yeah, this one's in 2022. Because Unity 6 wasn't out yet. And my Playground project was all in, it started off in 2019. And then I bumped that up to 2022 because they added a ton of new features in the meantime. And now I switched the main project to Unity 6. But this is all just assets anyways. It's not a lot of coding and shading. So honestly, that decal might look a little bit better in the other program. Probably not. But the lighting and post-processing will definitely be slightly improved when I bring it to the main project. It's because they did make some significant improvements, especially with lighting and efficiency. Like, you can't hear it right now, but my GPU is running a little harder with, technically 2 Unities running at once. One for the VTuber and one for all of this, which is not optimized. What are we at anyways? But yes, Unity, it's 6,000, but it's like 6.01 or something like that. What are we running at? Oh, not too bad. CPU 35%, GPU 28%. Now, that, my friends, is one of the perks of being low polygon. With ouch, drawing tablet. There's not usually something there. So one of the perks of being low polygon and easier textures, not lighter, but less detailed textures, is it does not use nearly as much resources. I could put this, I could build this for a phone and it'd be just fine. That's definitely one of the perks, even with this big unoptimized environment. Because there's also not a lot of stuff going on in it. Now, if we hop over to the other one, where's the other one? That we're currently running. And we've been running it the whole time. I don't have this one super optimized either, but oh, yeah, I just heard like the fans slow down on my computer. Yeah, this one we're using 6000.0.28 f1. That's a lot of numbers. Basically, it is Unity 6 with a couple of patches. It's been out for, I want to say since like winter. Yeah, winter sometime. Yeah, it's been out since winter sometime. I wanted to move it on to, here, let's pull that down a little bit. Ta-da! I wanted to bring it up to their new fixed release or limited service release or whatever the heck they call it. It's a stable release version, like a 0.1 instead of a miscellaneous numbers. But it broke some of my special features. And I think one of the things was it definitely broke the spout. Spout was not working properly. My spout plugin has not been updated in like 5 years, and I had to go in and manually fix it. So we might be staying with this version of Unity for a while. An air filter in your warehouse, a lot of dust particles. I know, there are a lot of dust particles. I am looking to add in more particles too. Definitely more particles and such. There's one thing I'm not utilizing like at all. Is the particle system or shader graph. Render graph? Shader graph? There are some nice new toys. And this track is putting me to sleep. There are some nice new toys in Unity 6 with the universal pipeline, because they changed like the whole rendering pipelines around. And yeah, there are some nice new toys. I think before I moved the project over, on stream, I took a little tour of the demo level. I'm just gonna put the tablet away for now so I don't bonk it again. I took a tour of the demo level, and there was some neat stuff in there, even though it was like, an early tech demo. And yeah, one of the things I definitely want to look into after getting this to a more usable state would definitely be the shader graph. So we would have disappeared from the bottom corner, but let's see if I remember my buttons. This one? There we go. The classic OBS tunnel. Oh, that looks so cool. With the post-processing effects on it too. It's kind of funny. we have a tunnel of rusties here. And this is going to be the start of our broadcast environment for when we want to show what we're working on, not when we're just chatting. Because the just chatting is going to be in the office. So not this office right here, hiding way behind me, but the factory and office. And then we're gonna snooze that ad because we're gonna wrap up soon anyways. Yeah, there's gonna be the start of the broadcast environment, and I am working on how I want to interact with things, because I recently started looking into VR because I have a VR set now, and trackers coming next week. I'm gonna have like full body tracking, so I'm gonna have the headset, the 2-hand things, and then 3 trackers so I can get my feet moving around. So I'm not roller skating anymore. I mean, it's not gonna be every stream. That's a lot of work for me sitting on my butt here, doing this. But for doing skits, animations, it'll definitely be better than like switching back and forth between walking Rusty and roller skating Rusty. Oh, and we just moved and pushed the screen around. Can I interact with it? I think I can. I can, that's right. I did add this last time. Oops. And it absolutely messes with the physics. Where are we? Oh well. Let's put it down. There we go. Ta-da. Now we are in front of the screen because that's where we dropped it. Bam. No screen for you. It is gone now. Oh wait, there it is. Anywho, I'm going to add in more interactive stuff here, but the VR subject, because I'm using hand tracking so much, I should actually have roller skates. You are correct. I've been meaning to do that too. Because I'm using, I'm a VTuber here and I'm using hand tracking, but I'm actually using my hands to interact with stuff, with the environment, I mean. I started looking into the VR controls, because the VR controls are, these are VR controls, Essentially, I am in VR right now without being in VR. Get that cursor off the screen. There we go. So here I am, it's like, oh, I pick up an object, I move stuff around with a slider or whatever, go pew, 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 Oh, I can look up at Giant Rusty, he who protects us and T-poses over us. So this is basically VR. So I thought, why don't I just try using VR controls? Like the stuff that they already have built. Stuff that they already have built for interacting with objects, because you like pick up something and you attach it to something else. And since I started using, playing around in VR a little bit, it's like, this would be so much simpler. This would be so much simpler than building everything from scratch or trying to adapt things to how I want to use them. So I'm looking at stealing a little bit from here, stealing a little bit from there, and just kind of mashing it together so I don't have to build everything from scratch. Because as much as I like to DIY, everything from scratch is a little excessive. So yeah, exciting new things. But I'm probably just gonna stack on a million different probably just gonna stack on like a million different ways to do things anyways, as we do. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I should say it's gonna be exciting for me, at least. It'll be fun to continue building everything. Sometimes, yes, absolutely. Sometimes it is better to build from scratch, which is what I've been doing a lot of. I mean, I did something. What did I do? Oh, I got the laser pointer working, and I built that from scratch, right? This is a poor environment to use it in, but I want a laser pointer so that when I am here in the broadcast environment, or no, as YouTuber or over in the broadcast environment. Let's see. Flashlight, laser pointer. See, I can point across the screen now, and it shows up in the overlay. This is a poor example because it is pointing at nothing. You know, like right now it's pointing way the heck over there because I don't have anything to point at. Where are you? I probably hit the gremlin. Try to get the gremlin. Where are you? Gremlin. Oh, I didn't fix the rotations, did I? Come on. Where? Oh, wait. There. See, now I'm laser pointering the gremlin somewhere. Well, anyways, I did fix it. Honest. Oh, and I got my face. Oh, that's why it's having issues. I also have it tied to my hand tracking. You see? There. Now I can at least see in the main screen. It's like, now I'm laser pointing the floor, and I can lock it into position. I think. It needs work. It needs work. But anyways, so yes, building fun stuff from scratch like that, because it's fun. All right. So, with many of me on the screen here, let's find a different background. There we go. Rusty Robot Factory. Let's zoom in a little bit. Gonna lock the camera. Let's see if we can actually raid someone tonight. Because it is a Friday night. It is a Friday night. I don't need to work in the morning. So. Oh, that snoozes ads. Whoops. Raid channel instead. So yeah, while I'm gotta remember to keep talking while I'm doing this. Next week, most likely going to be a Wednesday, Friday again. Most likely. It is up in the air. Got some IRL stuff going on next week, so just pay attention to the Discord or ads. Just pay attention to the Discord or the Blue Sky or whatnot. Oh man, really? Are we not able to find a person? You know what? Let's go. Here we go. Got a Fortniter. Let's go raid the Bigly, friend of the channel. He's playing Fortnite. This is not Fortnite, but let's just go say hi. Let's go say hi. Got a raid message. Just a Rusty raid. Good old Rusty raid. Let's go say hi to the Bigly. Thanks for thank you for being here. But yes, super appreciate everyone who stops by. Whether you're chatting, whether you're lurking, enjoying the vibes. Got some very sleepy music on right now. Very low key. As far as I'm lasting this long. But yes, looks like we're raiding right in the middle of our own ad break. So I apologize if you can't hear anything that I'm saying. But let's go have ourselves a good raid. And let's see. Type out my own raid message, and we'll see you next week. Rusty raid. Copy that, chat that. Catch y'all later.